Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation. I will now offer the invocation. Giver of life and Almighty Lord our God, today we come to you with deep gratitude in our hearts for all the gifts you give us each day. Family, loved ones, good friends, laughter, our great jobs. Help us always to receive these gifts with thanksgiving, and may our hearts be stirred to remember all of your mercies which we receive through your love towards us. We remember to you Mr. Kenneth Jones. His time at DCMA Northrop Grumman El Segundo is ending, and he will soon begin a new stage of life's journey. So we ask that you keep your hand of grace on him as he sets out to explore new horizons. He is retiring from the Defense Contract Management Agency, but not from life. This new phase of his life will present some exciting challenges. A challenge to be flexible in the midst of unknown variables. Lord, give him patience. A challenge for creativity. Lord, give him vision. A challenge to continue to live life well in the midst of changes. Lord, give him integrity. And perhaps most difficult, a challenge to slow down and enjoy life a little bit more. Lord, give him joy and peace in the quietness, and help him to be grateful for a life full of mission and purpose. May he find new ways to be fulfilled in the years to come. We ask also that you bless his loved ones. Give them your strength and grace as all together they step off into this new endeavor. And, of course, we ask a special blessing for this whole family, that may they grow together and deeper as the years go by. Your strength enables us to protect others. Your providence keeps us safe. Help us to turn our hearts towards you each and every day. In the name of the Creator, the Savior, and Sustainer. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Before we begin today's ceremony, I would like to take a moment to welcome our honored guests. We are pleased to have with us today Colonel Ferris, Commander, DCMA Palmdale, Dr. John Barman, Deputy, DCMA Northrop Grumman El Segundo. We would like to welcome the many other group chiefs, teammates, colleagues, leaders, and friends in the audience with us today. Thank you all for joining us to honor the career of a dynamic and superb contract administrator, Kenneth Jones. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce DCMA Northrop Grumman El Segundo's deputy, Dr. John Barman.
I was mentioning to Ken that when I looked at his resume and I realized that he's got 34 years of government service, I said, man, Ken is young. How could he have ever done that? And then when I went through the details of what he's done, and those that he's done when he was part of DCMA Northrop Grumman El Segundo, it is absolutely impressive. This is truly a sweet and bitter occasion, not only for me, but also for the whole team. So why is it so sweet? Because I think Ken knows that he's done now in terms of work, at least at Northrop Grumman El Segundo. He's ready to pick up his golf balls and maybe after golf, do a little bit of bowling and kicking back and whatever. Why is it bitter? Because I think we're losing a legend. Ken is truly a legend. So why is he a legend? For several reasons. The first one being that he started as a filing clerk and then went all the way up the ladder to becoming a contract administrator, performing real important functions. The last significant one that I can recall is a wall. So what is a wall? A wall is a workload acceptance lead, which is a very recent and a very important function that DCMA performs in terms of looking at the contracts and recommending to the commander whether those contracts, whatever they are, should be accepted in terms of administration or whether it should be turned back to the customer and say, now you guys do it or you pay us for doing it. He was trusted with those recommendations that he made to the streamline commander, and that's not the only thing he did. There are other reasons why Ken is a legend. Ken became from being a filing clerk, became a data transcriber, went up and became contract administrator for DCMA Santa Ana. His past was with DCASR LA, DCASMA El Segundo, various basin locations, and then he joined us, DCMA Northrop Grumman El Segundo, in 2003, and that's when I became familiar with him and his good work. He has done all kinds of excellent stuff. He is responsible for supporting 200 T-38 wing deliveries to the customer, to the Air Force customer. He's done 1,600 F-A-18 spare deliveries to the customer every year. And then he's closed contracts, 360 of them every year. He's supported the customer. Customers that we don't normally do a lot of technical support on for R&D contracts worth $1.6 billion, 50 of them or so over the years. He's done a lot of good work in terms of canceling funds and final voucher reviews and you name it. In addition to that, Ken is the kind of a person that can help anybody and everybody who comes across his cubicle. Every time I see him, he's got a big smile on his face. He is truly a team player, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for all the good work that you've done. As I said, we're going to miss you as a legend, but we'll remember you and please, yeah, you can do that. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. Every time that I would ask him a question, you know, I'm a technical person. I'm not all that clever about contracts and contracting workload and what is involved. Every time I would ask him a question, a contracting question, he would come back with an answer within 24 hours. Not only an answer, but a correct, accurate, and detailed answer in terms of the question that I posed to him. Again, we're going to miss you all, and be happy, healthy, and safe.
Thank you, sir.
With that, I want to present to you a DCMA Palmdale coin from Colonel Ferris. It's something that you can look at and remember DCMA Palmdale, our CMO Prime, and all the times in CMO. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Barman. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Jay Nishikawa.
All right, so Dr. Barman pretty much gave a history. I was going to give a brief history about Ken's personal life. And before I start, I just want to thank the folks that put this together. So Rajiv, who's doing our narration, Dion, who's our AV, and Byron was our logistics guy. And and to the rest of our team, for at least for giving inputs on how we should do this. I appreciate it. So Kenneth W. Jones was born. I can't tell you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Born May 9th, 1962 to James and Edna Jones. So he has 7 siblings: James Jr., Donald, Michael, Gregory, Ken, who's the 5th child, and then he has twin sisters, Aretha and, what was that? I couldn't pronounce the other one. Alicia. There you go. And then Ken has a daughter, Kanisha, and based on his young looks, you would never knew he was a grandfather to Cameron. Yes, Ken's grandpa. All right. And as far as his schools, he attended LaSalle Elementary, Bret Hart Junior High School, George Washington High School, and then Cal State Dominguez Hills, which ironically, that's where Space Force is filmed at.
Yes.
All right. With that, Raj, we can move on to the presentations.
Thank you, Jay. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the DCMA Civilian Career Service Award. Dr. Barman, please join Ken. The actual certificate is on its way. The citation reads, Mr. Kenneth W. Jones is recognized for his distinguished federal career of 34 years. During his extensive career with DCMA, he served as a file clerk, data transcriber, procurement technician, to include direct input and MOCAS trusted agent, and a contract administrator for the F5, T38, FA18, and multiple advanced research and development programs. His contract administration knowledge and dedication as a public servant were exceptional. Mr. Jones was a consummate team player, volunteering as the high-value, high-risk workload acceptance lead and mentoring new employees to their own successful careers. He is commended for his commitment to the DCMA mission and the warfighter. Mr. Jones's selfless service brings great credit upon himself DCMA Palmdale, and Defense Contract Management Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the reading of the retirement order. Attention to orders. Defense Contract Management Agency Certificate of Service dated 12 June 2020. Subject, retirement of Mr. Kenneth W. Jones, Contract Administrator, DCMA El Segundo, is relieved from assignment for 34 years of faithful and devoted federal civilian service. Mr. Kenneth W. Jones is retired by order of Lieutenant General David Bassett, Director, Defense Contract Management Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Yeah, there's one more.
Ken also received a letter of appreciation from Colonel Ferris, Commander, DCMA Palmdale. On behalf of a grateful agency, please accept my sincere appreciation for your dedication and support during the course of the past 34 years as an employee of the Defense Contract Management Agency, Palmdale, Northrop Grumman, El Segundo. During the period of January 1986 to June 2020, you proudly served your country as a file clerk, data transcriber, procurement technician, and contract administrator supporting the F-5, T-38, FA-18, and multiple research and development contracts and customers to include, but not limited to, Space and Missile Systems Center, SMC, Air Force Research Labs, AFRL, Air Force Materiel Command, AFMC, and Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. Your instinctive attention to detail led the team to successfully execute superb contract administration activities to ensure contract requirements and agency manuals are properly followed and executed. Your tenure as a contract administrator for major programs set the tone for your team to perform cohesively. Your unparalleled support to DCMA Palmdale, the Western region, and the Department of Defense during this time frame has been a testament to the dedication, sacrifice, and devotion you have for your country and fellow Americans. Thank you, Ken, and I wish you and your family all the best in your future endeavors. Sincerely, David L. Ferris, Commander, DCMA Palmdale.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Congratulations.
On behalf of the retirement of Ken Jones, from Honorable George W. Bush and the Honorable Jimmy Carter and the Honorable William Clinton and the Honorable Barack Obama, you are presented with a presidential letter of appreciation. The actual certificate is on its way.
It's in the mail, okay. It's in the mail.
It's coming. On behalf of the retirement of Ken Jones, from Senator Maxine Waters, a flag is flown over the Capitol. Jay will now present Ken with the flag presentation case.
And then I'll make my comments while we do this. So, like anything, the flag is on its way. In the mail. It's in the mail. It's not the 14th yet, so
Right.
I haven't quite flown it, but it's there. It'll be coming, and then we had this made for you. So some comments about Ken. So I first met Ken in 2003, actually here in El Segundo when I was in the PCS here. I came as a CA. I came after him as a CA. Then I separated, became his ACO, and then right now, finally his supervisor. Yeah, I need my glasses. Yeah, but we've always been friends. You'll see a theme throughout this retirement ceremony. Based on Ken's personality, how he is. So being here and being in the military, it's always cool to have like a nickname, like a pilot cosign that kind of fits your personality, kind of terms of endearment. So he's always been like low-key Ken to us, very low-key. But there's also been names that he's given other people also, and I'll give you an example. And it's always been based on people's personality. Ken came up with Easy Rider, is a Lieutenant Colonel James Simmons. He's at SMC right now. He's come up with Jimmy Dean. These are guys that used to work here. This last one, I don't know if it's a term in endearment, but came up with, we'll say Croft, but that was more if you did something wrong, like, dang, you just pulled a Croft, stuff like that. Those who know Croft, you know what that means, all right? He's actually Lieutenant Colonel Croft now, so congratulations to him on that also. But as far as that, like Dr. Barman said, and I said the theme, Ken's an avid bowler. When Bridget would have team events to go to the bowling alley, we would be fighting over Ken being on our team because, you always wanted to win. But Ken would always sit out and say, I'm not bowling. so we never really got to see the real Ken, but he's active in a lot of leagues. He goes to Vegas every year. I know he's coming up, right? Supposedly, maybe. Maybe. He's been doing that ever since I've known him. What else? And what better sport, to up your morale than cigars and alcohol? With a little bit of golf, with a little bit of golf, cigars, alcohol, a little bit of golf, stuff like that. And this, Ken knows this. I'm just going to give a blast from the class of some of these the Twilight crew. Tony Escobar, Arturo Tavios, Ramon Pulido, now retired Colonel Kevin Hobbs, who's at SMC, and current active duty Navy Commander Joe Ruff. So these are the stuff that we used to do back in the day. I heard before I got to DCMA, they used to do a lot more events together, like a lot of bowling leagues, DCMA bowling leagues, all that stuff, softball teams, stuff like that. I don't know exactly when it died out, but I only get to hear the good memories. As far as an employee, so we know you get more mature, and as you see the light at the end of the tunnel of your career, things start to happen, or maybe not happen. So I've seen many before Ken's career, to observe, you get set in your ways when you hit a certain point in your career. I would always try to get Ken, to apply to be my ACO, and he would always tell me, no, man, I'm good. So there's been a few opportunities, like, come on, Ken. But, not to downplay my current ACOs, but, recently after hearing that Ken skipped a grade in school, made me think, man, what an ACO I could have had all these years. Nothing against you two. I'm just saying. Like Ken wanted me to keep this light, so I'm trying to put a little humor into some stuff. But definitely I could always count on Ken. He's very reliable in his own way. He'll tell you how it is, but he'll begin with a question first, and that's how you done asked something crazy. If he asks you a question back, you're like, oh man, I messed up. But in closing, with 34 years out the door, I'm blessed to be living good times. Sorry. Celebrations. Low point, but you're always trying to pull through. I personally appreciate his friendship and advice, you know, and the coolness that I never had, but I wish that I knew it. Appreciate that you mentored the team, passed on your knowledge, and, you know that they'll press on, know that you have their back. All right, congratulations, good luck.
And like, we didn't breathe.
Dion Mitchell will now share a few words with Ken.
So Ken, I wanted to present this to you. This is a temporary bowling pin that we had custom made for you. It won't be made about another week, so I'm gonna come and drop it off to you. That is, I'll show it to the camera later.
Let them know what they say, straight out of contracts.
I wanted to have something for you just to show what we got for you.
Very nice.
That's real nice.
Captain Muhlenberg will now share a few words with Ken.
All right, Ken. So just give me one chance to dog on you a little bit before you retire. But I want to talk about my first experience. No, first one I can really remember with Ken. Had to have been my second or third day here at DCMA, and so I still had my visitor's badge, so I couldn't buzz in and out. So Jay had assigned Ken to me for the day to take care of me, to help me buzz in and out when I needed to. And so it had to have been one or two that day. I was waiting outside the gate because for some reason Ken and I didn't exchange numbers. That was kind of dumb, right? So I'm just waiting there, and waiting there, and then about 50 yards, I remember vividly, 50 to 100 yards away, I can see Ken walking towards me. And I'm getting excited. I'm like, finally, someone's going to let me in. And just as I'm about to raise my hands around, it starts walking the other way. Now, I never brought it up to Ken, so I don't know if he on purpose or if he forgot something in his car or had to go talk to someone. Don't know. But honestly, looking back on that, and then looking back on the past 3 years, and then looking back on all of Ken's experiences, I only had 3 years contracting. To cube that, 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 27. Ken still had more years of experience than I did at the time, and he mentored. He had to take care of a lot of people. He had to deal with all shapes and colors, had to deal with all personalities, and throughout that time, he mentored people. He was a source of knowledge, was a source of inspiration, and a lot of those people went on to be the acquisition professionals and leaders that we have today at DCMA and throughout the DoD. And for a way for you to remember that, and us to commemorate that as the spark of inspiration that you lit in the hearts of everyone, we got you a lighter.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Straight out of contracts, lighting it up. Wow.
Torch.
That's a nice light. Take that everywhere.
Straight out of contract.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And it works.
Thank you very much.
Jay is representing on my behalf. Ken, I would like to share a few words with you.
Wait a minute, why you ain't here?
I'll be there for the after party.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, go ahead.
Well, everyone in this room knows about Ken's amazing contributions for the agency. But despite leaving the agency and the role of contract administrator behind, Ken's impact on DCMA leaves a kind of energy that will continue on for a long time. It is like a cloud. When a cloud is no longer a cloud, it is something else, like rain or snow. So when you don't see a cloud in the sky, you don't say that it's no longer there. It is still there in other forms. In the same way, although Ken's physical presence may be absent from our office, his legacy continues on in new forms. Whenever I perform high-value, high-risk actions or run into MOCAS issues, Ken's lessons and influence lives on in my thoughts and actions. Whenever I get consumed with work or when life situations get a little bit more hectic, I learn from Ken that sometimes it is best to step away and take a walk. Things will be okay. And that is why I say, even though Ken's physical presence may be absent from DCMA, his legacy continues on through the thoughts and actions of the lives he has helped and mentored. Thank you so much, Ken. And I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rod.
That's a whiskey glass that you can put a
I know
cigarette.
what it is. And if right here, you can stick the cigar in the side. Yes. 2-in-1 combo.
That is fancy.
Oh, yeah. Real fancy. Try that out later. Okay. Picking these kids, y'all very smart.
Jay is representing on Miss Frida Crenshaw's behalf. Miss Frida Crenshaw.
No, I'm here, Raj.
Oh, hey. It's all you.
I'm gonna go easy. Well. They won't be able to say, "Here comes Frida." But I'm very, very happy for you, Jones. You're at the point in life where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. May God keep his hand on you. Take care of yourself, and congratulations. Pastor Cavassier, this is our toast to you.
Thank you, Frida. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Yeah, caught me off guard. I'll be back. I gotta go use the restroom. Oh, yeah. Picking these gifts. Like getting that tie on Father's Day you don't want. You be like, yeah, thank you. I love this. Oh, yes.
Tony Mamstein, representing QA, will now share a few words.
Wait.
Well, I definitely I don't have the inspiration that these guys. I'm quite impressed by the presentations that the thought that you guys have put out for Mr. Jones here. But I want to present this to you. This is actually coming from Lieutenant Colonel Burt. He found out you were getting a lighter, but no smoke. So he thought it was imperative that when you leave here, you have something to toke on while you relax in your newly appointed job of relaxing. So he actually got this awesome little humidor travel cigar and it's filled with
I know what
cigar.
this is.
Yeah, and so that's your support on the F-18 has proven invaluable, and that was the way of showing the appreciation. On the QA side of the house, we're kind of soft, so we got you some flowers. We actually got you 4 roses. And, and this is also
Retire long?
for your relaxation. So I hope you take these roses and use it at the appropriate time in a safe manner.
I guess I will. Oh my.
And I tell you from a quality perspective, we're definitely going to miss your personality. We're going to miss your laughter throughout Echo and throughout the halls, and your interaction with your teammates. And I sometimes sit in my office just giggling.
Waiting on the entertainment, right?
Yeah. There he goes again. So, although you have a long path to go still, being in your 20s and 30s, I'm not sure. But you definitely will be missed here. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce Kenneth Jones, retired. Please feel free to share a few words.
Speech.
This is Deborah. I'm gonna be really quick. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's cold. Once again, Deborah, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
I'm sorry.
It's not time.
I was following Raj.
No, he said Mr. Ken Jones. He didn't say Miss Deborah Clark.
I'm
Pay
sorry.
attention. You're focusing on the wrong thing.
I'm gonna miss you.
You get your chance. Can I talk, Deborah? Thank you, Deb. Can I talk? Thank you.
Well, I can't say something about you, Ken.
They got, wait. I thought that's how it's supposed to go. They told me I'm supposed to talk now. I thought.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I go now?
Yeah, you go now.
Yes.
Ken stage.
Okay. Bridget, Deborah, can y'all wait? Thank you. I'm sorry, I just wanted to look for it. I can sit down, right? I don't have to stand up, right? Wow. Wow. First off, never in my wildest dreams did I think my retirement celebration, whenever it would come, would be under these circumstances, surviving how the world is going right now. But I'm not complaining. As I've seen some people have, on social media, oh, I'm about to retire, but I can't even have a party because of blah, blah, this, all this, nothing. I'm not like that. I'm glad I'm retired. Whenever the world might get in a better place or whatever, down the line, who knows, I might have somebody that's not important. I can remember my first day on the job, January 6, 1986. It was around the corner on 109th in La Cienega, which is now, I believe, the Customs Building. And I was working, they told me it was the Casser LA or whatever, and they said, you'll be working in the comptroller office. I didn't know what none of that mean. I just wanted a job. And then back in the day, then you weren't on no computers filling out stuff and then everyone. That was called, back then you did a handwritten application. I'm quite some of y'all might remember, like you, Bridget, for the civil service exam. And then you mail it in and you go take a test downtown. According to your score, they just posted to all the agencies and it was like, okay, anybody did this. So you would get correspondence in the mail, such and such want you to come interview, such and such want you to come interview. I interviewed a few times, one time, but they was honest with you. I interviewed for a small business administration downtown. And the lady said, I would love to have you, but she said, it'll cost you more to park than what you're gonna make. I'm like, huh? She says, you don't want this job. Okay, then that's when the cashier called me. I went in and interviewed, I'll never forget, it was right about Christmas time, and I already had a ticket to go to Louisiana. And the lady said, oh, no problem, you can start after New Year's, welcome aboard. That quick, you know. And, you know, it was like, wow, this how it is. So I can remember that day so good when I started on January 6th. Now here it is, 34 and a half years later. What's today, June, what, 11, 12? 2020. That little boy that was a file clerk now on his way out the door. And yes, I am so happy. Not happy because I'm leaving the people around me. I will miss this environment. But because of the pandemic, for the last, 2 months, I've already segued into retirement as far as how to be, as far as not being around everybody, and how it's let me know I will be able to function good in retirement, because even though we were still working, wasn't nothing to do. Couldn't go nowhere. Now they kind of loosen it up, but would you quit crying? I'm trying to talk. Now, but like I said, this was, I worked at the longest through all the CMOs I did. I did about 2003, 17, whatever years. And I never forget when back then they didn't have Keystones. I started as a contract administrator trainee. I was the last group in that. After me, that's when they started the Keystone. So I'll never forget, I was a contract trainee in Santa Ana. And the resource review team came in and they was trying to figure out, how do Santa Ana got all these trainees when all these other CMOs need bodies in there? So they made a rash decision. They was like, okay, not only are we surplusing all the contract trainees, we surplusing all the trainees across the board, quality, property, all of us were surplus. So I got a letter on my desk saying, dear Ms. Kim Jones, blah, 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 you have been deemed surplus. And I don't know about y'all, but I had a bad feeling like, dang, I'm not wanted. I'm just kicked to the curb. And then the following day, I get a letter saying, dear Mr. Jones, you have been picked up by Northrop Grumman El Segundo. You'll be working under the tutelage of Dr. John Barnum. Tutelage, Dr. Barnum. Okay, first I got scared, like, am I sick? I'm like, who is Dr. Barnum? And then reality kicked in. Northrop Grumman El Segundo. Who do I know at Northrop Grumman El Segundo? Y'all might know her name is Bridget Guillory. So obviously it didn't take a break. She recommended me to Dr. Barnum, him trusting Bridget. That's how I got picked up, and that's how I got here. I don't know if they regretted when Bridget retired. I don't know if Dr. Barnum regretted it. Based on his legendary speech, I don't think he regretted it. Yeah, y'all do know I'm a legend now, right? So, you know, that's how and that's how I got here. So I've enjoyed my time here. I'm just using this because this was my last stop. And knock on wood, I'm grateful that I feel, even though I'm retiring, I'm not retiring to just turn on the TV and I can still get out, and I appreciate that. But let me hurry up because even though I'm feeling good, it's kicking in. I just want to appreciate everyone, starting with Bridget for bringing me here, Dr. Barnum for accepting me here, the current team I have, all y'all awesome. Some of y'all, I might have got on your nerves, but I didn't care. I was the elder statesman. I tell y'all, I earned that right. I earned that right. Anna Cruz, you out there, when you came in there, you soaked up everything you could get out of me. You sometimes got my nerve, but you was adamant. You gonna tell me this, you gonna tell me, and you got it all. And now you spread your wings big time. But you better not ever forgive me. I don't care where you at. That's right. Aisha, You came in the same way. I heard you retired. I'm getting everything I can out of you before you go. Okay, you got it. Okay, yeah, okay. You moved on. You got what you got what you want. Tony, when she came in, Keystone, she got what she want, but she spared her wing, but she's still here now. She my ACO. I mean, that call, it was never a problem. It was like, okay, you my pseudo boss, but you know who I am. Right at the end of the day. It worked out good. She's doing great. Michelle, I didn't have to mentor her. She came in knowing everything. So but it's just funny. That's why I know it's time to go, because I used to work with her mother. So it's like, wow, okay, it's time to go. And Dr. Barman, thank you for allowing me to come to work out. And I think through the years, we built up with the, when you start trusting me, like, hey, you come ask questions. So I said, I guess he cool with me now, you know. Dion and Raj, y'all some of the best Keystones I ever saw. No disrespect, Tony. Dion was photography and all that, and plus we got a Louisiana connection.
Yes, sir.
Good time. He could say something about some food. I say, everybody looking, what the heck they talking about? We knew what we was talking about.
That's right.
Raj, you came in, and everybody know I come to work some days and Raj ain't here. I'd be like, where Raj? What you mean? I said, I can't work, Raj not here. What I mean by that is anything technical. Now, I ain't fake. I know the job and all that, but as computer technology start increasing, I'm old school. I don't want to do it. So I know what to put on there. Sometimes I don't know how to put it. Raj would always come help me. I asked Raj and he would help me. And then sometimes if I might go a day or two without asking him, Raj would be, I'm at my desk and I just said, Raj, don't sneak up on me. I'm old, man. That scares me. I turn around, Raj sitting there with a grin. Everything okay? Yeah, Raj. He's like, well, he basically said, you ain't asking no help for that. Raj, I thank you for everything. And HVHR, I know would be in good hands. I mean, I ain't heard officially, but I'm quite sure you probably would be the man to take over that. So I know it will be in good hands. Jay, the thing is, a lot of people don't know. Back in the day, he said it, but before Jay was a supervisor and all that, Jay was in the military. That's when I met him. We had a good bond. It was a group of us. We used to play golf, eat lunch like every day, had a good old thing, and crack jokes and all that. Never in my wildest dreams, I know he'd come back and be my boss. That could be beneficial or it could be a detriment. It was more beneficial because I don't care about anybody might have said, not too many people know, but you're like, we used to be friends way back. No. Okay, what about it? Yeah, we used to eat lunch back then. Now we know how it works now. You don't have lunch with your supervisor every day. No. Even if we did, but I didn't care. But if it was he respected my knowledge and he knew all that because when he came in, he knew nothing about all this. So he remembered all that. Then he came back, he probably like, oh, Ken's still here. Cool. So I had no problem with that. And he's been like a friend, love his family, and he's been one of the best supervisors I've ever had. To me, I'm speaking for myself. I ain't trying to run it. He cares about his team. That's how I look at it. He cares about you as an individual. I'll never forget. Now, I have to bring this up, but this probably, when my mother passed about 8 years ago, when my mother passed, I looked up, the day of the service, we out there waiting to go in, and it caught me off guard. I'm just gonna say this. I'm hearing somebody say, Ken, at the service, before we march in, I look up and it's Jay handing me an envelope. And my family all looking like, I'm being politically correct, but they're like, who is that? And later on, I said, oh, that was my boss. And that touched me. He came out, even though they couldn't stay long because they had another event, I think with the kids or something, but the fact that he showed up where we was at, I'll never forget that. And, but the thing people understand was we were friends before we became supervisor employees. And I respect that. And now that I'm going off the books, I guess we really, really friends again. I guess I can accept your friend request on Facebook. I'm just joking, but yeah, we good now. So that being said, I think that's everybody. If I left anybody out on the team, did I leave anybody out? We all good, right? And Byron, on your little speech, I did not know exactly what, all I was supposed to do was sign you in the morning. All that, see, I don't know about all that kicking all day long and all that. I didn't know about that. So I apologize if you felt disrespected. I thought, I was just told to pick you up. That's all. But overall, so I'm good. Okay, so I guess now y'all can, anybody want to talk about me? I don't care. It's my last day. But it's been a good ride, and it's been a blessing. I'm proud of myself for staying on the job for 34 and a half years. I'm just keeping it real. Because when I first started, I was like, I ain't gonna be doing this too long. You know, and oh, I did leave out one thing. It's humorous. The DCMA, I mean, I even met my wife working through DCMA. We're not still married, but I did meet you. I'm just saying, that's just going to show you. It's all good. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. But I'm looking forward to just being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do. I might, because a lot of people are asking me, well, what you going to do, Ken? First thing I said, not go to work. Well, you going to travel? I said, if I feel like it, but it ain't going to be too far. I'm either going to Phoenix, Arizona, or Las Vegas, Nevada. That's it. That's all I'm going. That's all. And then, you know, and it's just going to be nice, especially when you wake up on Monday morning. Hey, I got to go. Wait, Ken, you ain't got to go nowhere. Or be hanging out somewhere with people. Oh, man, I got to head in because I got to go to work tomorrow. I'll be like, yeah, I got to go. I ain't got to go nowhere. Give me another, you know. But it's been a blessing, a good ride, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. So if I've enjoyed working with you guys, and I hope y'all will enjoy working with me. I know some days I might turn somebody off, piss somebody off, excuse me, but it was not meant with malice or anything. I get along with everybody. It takes a lot for me not to get along with community with everybody. And I will miss that, the good banter in the office, because, you know, like he's like, Tony's like, he's sitting there waiting, there you go again, you know, it's just, you never know. And Angelique on the other side of me, I hear over there snickling like I be hearing over there. So I ain't gonna bother. But it's been a good ride. And thanks everybody for the wonderful, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, these gifts are wonderful. I mean, they will be utilized immediately. These are some wonderful gifts. These are wonderful gifts. And I hope, on the serious side, that anybody has learned something from me through the years, whether small or not. You know, I've learned from you guys too, especially the young ones coming up. You know, it's all good. And thank everybody. It's been a good ride. It's been a good ride. So I'm finna enter this next chapter, but I ain't going nowhere. I'm still local. I'll still see y'all around. Anybody having something, if y'all want to invite me, I'll show up. I won't be doing nothing, so. Thank you. That's all I have. God bless.
Thanks, Ken. At this time, if anyone wants to share a few words to Ken, the mic is yours.
All right, this is Deborah. That's why I wanted to go before you, because I didn't want my tears to start flowing, okay? You know I can't be there because of this pandemic that's going on. And I wish I really could be there because I really would like to give you a hug. But I'm just going to say a few words. When Jay said, when you ask a question and he comes back to you with a question, you know you asked a crazy question. and I wouldn't know MoCast the way that I know MoCast if it wasn't for you, Ken. hold on. We argued a lot. I've never had a relationship with anybody at work the way that I have a relationship with you. And I consider you my brother. I really do. You would make me figure out my question on my own. And I really appreciate that because I learned better that way. You know, when you got on my nerves with all your shenanigans or your conversing with your teammates, as Tony said, that's when I would put my headphones on. So now I might not even need my headphones anymore. But and then like Raj said, you have probably taught all of us how to step away for a walk when we need to. All of us know that, you know, you might need to go out for about 5 minutes and collect yourself and come back. So I just want to say, Ken, I'm going to miss you. We're going to get together after all this, after I feel like it's safe, and we'll do something together. And I'm going to miss you, Ken. That's all I got to say, because the tears are coming. Goodbye.
Thank you, Deb.
I love you. I really do love you.
Love you too. Miss you too.
Hi, Ken. This is Bridget.
Is that Miss Guillory?
Hi. I am so happy. Wait a minute. I dropped my notes. Hold on.
Notes?
No, I'm going to make that. But I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to share this day with you. For anyone that doesn't know, me and Ken go way back to the early 90s. And I was with the AFPRO and he was with the DCAS. And when we merged together, I met Ken. We became friends. He taught me, like Deborah just said, he taught me MOCAS and saved my life in terms of coming over and learning a new system. But we became friends. We were on a bowling league together for a while when DCM, I forgot what we were called then, but when DCMA had their bowling league, we took shots together when everybody made their strikes. We just had an awesome time. Then we started working together, like he explained, at Northrop Grumman. I left and came back, and Ken was here. But one thing I think that everybody would, any supervisor that Ken had, they would know that you could never supervise Ken. Because number one, he knew more than you did about content. And Ken would always kind of gave you a hard time. He was still gonna always do it. I think he liked to give us the hard time, but he got us in the team. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you for your friendship. And I look forward to us going to have another toast somewhere. So talk to you soon. Love you.
Love you too. Miss Guillory.
Yeah.
So my little card says, you will truly be missed. The office will not be the same. Lucky for us, we're not working, or we're working from home. So we are working from home. But my favorite day coming into work was on Wednesday, because Monday is Tony's RDO, Tuesday I work from home, and then Wednesday it was like, let the shenanigans begin. So I just had like a great time. We did do a lot of work, you know, commissions, but we always had a good time. And I would like sometimes have little dance breaks and I'd play some music, and Jones is like, what is this? And I'll see his little toe tapping and everything. Yes, he did. But yeah, so yeah, since it's not the same anyway, since we're at home, so that's like probably not hitting me. But I really miss you, and yeah, just like the first office, I felt like really like family and laughter and just good times. So enjoy, and we'll keep in touch. I'll contact her and we'll Will stalk you.
Thank you, Michelle.
I know, yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Open it.
Where's she going?
Oh. Can't take it.
What y'all trying to say? Okay. It's about, I'm not gonna pull all these out, but it's about 25 of these Reese cups. They all know I love Reese cups. And I guess they know I love Kvassier. Wow. Yeah, y'all, I'm serious. I done went to a lot of retirement celebrations, and I know the people was getting gifts, and they be like, "Oh, thank you." I look, y'all smart. Y'all picking the perfect gifts. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord.
Well, I really didn't want to speak. I don't think I'm gonna say so many words. You know that I love you.
What, you put your hand like you push
Come over a little bit more, Tony.
Come on, they want to see you, Tony.
I don't want to be on camera.
Miss Wilson, they want to see you.
I am gonna truly miss you. It has been a very entertaining road.
Keep it
I've
real.
learned when I first met you. I remember it like yesterday. He was sitting at his desk with the IT person under his desk, sitting back, and someone introduced me to him, and
come on.
He didn't even remember that he met me when I returned to the office. He said, "Who is this person?" And I told him, "You met me, but you were too busy looking at the IT person under your desk." It's a female person. So he couldn't remember meeting me because he was distracted on the job. And
I was trying to make sure my computer was working effectively so I could do my job. Go ahead.
absolutely, absolutely. And then the banter began from that point on. It's been that way the entire time that I've been knowing you, and it's been good. It's been good. I've learned a lot from you. I'm gonna really, really miss you. I'm gonna miss the back and forth. And so much more, but I will be in touch with you. I don't want to go too far into our history because I don't want to get too emotional, but here is one gift this is from Cisco. You know what that is.
Not another bottle.
And this one's for me. So I want you to open it up as well. These are yours.
What is it? Oh, the work stuff.
Yeah.
You said open it up?
We can open it.
Oh my God. Not another bottle.
It's a party.
You help me on you know I'm gonna tear it up. You can help me open it. Can you open it nice? Thank you. You know, I just remember. It's a humidor. Okay. Amen. I know it. You said open?
What's in there?
What's in the humidor? Okay, weapons. I know you assume I do, but I don't.
Jay has something.
They always got something.
Okay, I got it.
It's a mystery. It's like the flag's blocking me.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Oh.
excited now.
Oh, these come. Okay, hold on.
All right.
All right. Hey, how y'all doing? Can you see?
So it's a set.
It's a. Say it.
It's basically a cigar set.
It's a cigar set.
With the two glasses to match, with the cigars to go in here. And then for him to get the
Ice. Can you see it?
and then a cigar cutter.
This is the cutter in one of those. And you have to cut the tip before you smoke. Wow, man. Who's this from?
It's for me.
Oh, that was from the team? Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Hey, yeah, once again, these gifts. Oh. Wow. Okay. Who picked that out for you? You didn't know how to find it.
I'm making my credit.
Okay, any more liquor?
Anyone else want to share a few words with Ken before I continue?
Hey Ken, this is Hannah. I'll make this short and sweet. I just want to say congratulations on this new stage of your life. I know you're gonna enjoy it. 34 years, it's a long time, so I know you're excited. I know you've been looking forward to this. I just want to say thank you personally for all the mentoring you did for almost 4 years. You did a really good job. You took me under your wings, and I'm forever thankful for that. I know that even though you're retiring, we're still gonna keep in touch. I hope so, at least. So yeah, enjoy your retirement and enjoy life.
Thank you, Natasha. I mean, Anna.
All right, last call. Going once, twice, thrice. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Ferris and Dr. Barman, thank you for joining us today in honoring Kenneth Jones. This concludes today's ceremony. Please join us in one final applause for Ken on his new journey called retirement. Thank you, and Ken, I'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Raj.
I'm sure that wasn't the last call for alcohol.